Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, great news. My daughter's bed is out of the room. We got another room. So, we had a roommate, had him leave, and now my daughters have their own room, which is amazing news. Um, this is like my den or whatever you would like to call it. This is my specific room to myself. But I think it's awesome to say that we're going to be expanding. I'm going to put a lot more. As you can see, there's some stuff on the floor still, and Diana's bassinet is still over there, but you can't see it right now. But we're going to be adding so much to this room. I'm going to be doing different angles and whatnot and adding more because there's a lot of room in this, a lot of space in this room. And then Yoshi's in the corner, which is my gecko. But anyways, we have some great news. So I think I found out who pruned Loki. Now you're going to be like, how do you know? Because if you pay attention to the close clues in episode 1, it is very obvious. You see it straight up in your face. Let's get right into this video and let's find out who pruned Loki and how it's going to come back in the later part of the season. Let's go. All right, so we're here for what you all want. Let's get into the Loki news and exactly who pruned Loki. Here we go. Loki and Mobius talking as they are awaiting their possible last minutes as the time loom becomes overcharged. Then it rips him through space and time all around. It's the future, Loki states, as he looks on the computer and it says skin with a question mark. It is what Mobius wrote back in the present, or now Loki's past, as Loki is currently in the future of the TVA. As Loki begins to run through the halls of the now future TVA, he is looking for a time stick. He's looking everywhere, looks at the clock in his hand, and he can't seem to find it. We then pan to a screen showing the timelines all erupting with the words Loom Critical. At this point in time, the present and the future are both seeing the time loom overload at the same moment. Loki inside the halls and Mobius outside in a suit. Loki looks at his pocket watch and notices it turns green, and then he gasps, "No." He mutters to himself as it is too late. He can't prune himself. He does not have a stick. Just then, he hears a phone ring and turns down the hall with the flickering lights. As he begins to go towards it, as he gets even closer and closer, the eerie music gets louder. Who's on the phone? At exactly 36 minutes and 21 seconds, we can see the outline of a person with a blur effect on them, just so that we can't quite tell who they are. You can clearly tell that the person has a jacket and a tie on and seems to have darker hair. But once again, who could it be? Loki, still unaware of their present, looks at the elevator door and then back at the phone, then at the door again. We then see Sylvie slowly but surely prying the door open to get to Loki. He begins to shed a tear as he recognizes her, the one he has been looking for, when all of a sudden she says to Loki, "There you are." But then Loki takes a big breath, gasps as he is pruned in front of her. A tear runs down his eyes, and as he disappears, we see the prune stick showing through his back. At that moment, Loki is sent back to the present to save Mobius and himself as they fly through the door. Now, I believe that person behind him was himself. It is not a long shot to say it's another Loki, played by Hiddleston, as we see multiple KC and multiple Mobius from the same episode being the past and the present ones. We also are shown our Sylvie, which was the one who killed He Who Remains, and she ended up at the McDonald's in 1982, which states branched timeline, and that's pretty much in the post-credit scenes. And then the future Sylvie is the one we see in the elevator and has a different haircut and a different style, and that's obviously showing the differences in the two. Now, check out this second photo from the Loki trailer. Now, if you look carefully, you see Loki and he's looking at a book, but this time he's wearing that brown coat again. And then in the background, you see the exact same look with Loki. However, I'm assuming one is either past and one is present, or one is present and one is future. And it's not a long shot, once again, to say Loki is going to prune himself to get himself out of that. This is going to be another angle. I'm assuming this is what that big cliffhanger is at the end of episode 4 that everybody's talking about. As in next week's episode is Finding Sylvie. The week after's episode is Victor Timely, Missed Minutes, Mobius, and Loki, with a bunch of cool action scenes. That Ferris wheel and that Chicago Expo, which was in like the 1800s, I believe. But correct me if I'm wrong. And then this next episode, which is episode 4, we're left on a big cliffhanger in the middle part of the season, give or take. But you know, we're supposed to get a couple more different variants and a couple other things, which I will be going over those rumors and leaks in the upcoming days and so, because I'm trying to keep you guys as updated as I can with Loki, as this is so interesting and it has me picking my brain 24/7. How crazy would it be is if Loki, we're going to get another angle of that, right? We're going to have present Loki, and we're going to get present Loki explaining to future Loki what he did. And now I have to explain it because future Loki would be present Loki and present Loki would be future Loki. It's like reversed at that point. We're going to find out that he had to prune himself to save himself at some point, shape, or time, because at this point, the timelines are all intertwined. They're past, present, and future, and they're all the same thing. Hence how Loki was in the past and Obi was getting those memories directly into the present. So it's really weird, but it's not far-fetched to say we will see a second Loki, because we've seen a second Mobius, we've seen a second Obi, we've seen a second Casey, and so on and so forth. Let me know what you think down below about this theory. Pretty sure I got this. Let me know once again. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.